Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Soul Blossoms London. And this is a follow-up complimentary recording for people who attended, who were able to attend or couldn't attend, couldn't see the live workshop from Saturday about harmonizing your family relationships. And so basically, the workshop was a 2 hour workshop. Me and Jamie did in person in London on Saturday. And so we had a few people come in person. And because we were in a live location, I think the internet kept going in and out. So we decided to go ahead and do an additional follow-up session just for the people who couldn't follow along because of the internet. So, relationships, they are complicated, they are part of our everyday life, and they are one of the resource you can call it a resources and teachings that basically that they help us really understand what is happening, not just on the outside, but also what's happening in our fields. We're all vibrational fields, and relationships are one of those resources or teachers that reflect what do we have in our field. So let me go ahead and go over the presentation that I have prepared just to kind of go over some of the main aspects. So this is the workshop we had on Saturday. And again, really quickly, I am a doctor of optometry, Tao calligraphy field practitioner and teacher. I'm a Tao science messenger. I've been a meditation teacher and Kuan Yin lineage holder level 2, amongst other qualifications. And my ultimate goal is to empower participants to understand and connect with their own souls and to manifest their lives full of love, peace, harmony, and happiness. So the importance of family. Our families serve as a sacred space for growth, love, and learning. Family is often viewed as the first community in which we learn values, emotional management, and compassion. Family relationships are not random. They are opportunities for spiritual growth and transformation. Now, these three main points are actually the biggest factors when we consider our family and the place where we've been raised, where we've been grown, and how much it actually has affected our not only emotional and mental well-being, but also our physical health can also be affected by depending on our conditioning, our culture, how we were raised, what our parents went through. Some of the knowledge and wisdom that Master Shah shares is that we inherit 50% of our ancestors' information. So we could be inheriting a lot of good stuff, but we also inherit some not so positive and negative information. So part of that is with our parents. So if our parents had limited mindsets, if our parents had anger issues, if our parents had health problems, like physical health can also genetically be passed down. So we inherit a lot of things from our family members and our ancestors. And so it is very important to be cognizant of um, doing our best to continue to transform as much of the negative information that we've inherited to positive. And in a way, it may seem a little bit unfair that it falls in our lap, but it is something that we agreed to do before we came into this world. We decided who were going to be our parents. We agreed to it. And it is ultimately for our highest growth. So family is very important, and it also reflects on all our additional relationships. So you would think our family relationships perhaps has nothing in common with with maybe a work relationship or a coworker relationship. But depending on how our parents raised us, did they raise us to be lazy and spoiled, or did they raise us to, do your own dishes, you're old enough to do your own laundry, do your cooking? Well, when you go into a work environment, those qualities will be affecting your work environment as well, because people will be able to tell if you're trying to avoid work, if you're trying to avoid cleaning, if you're trying to pass it on. So right there, the influence of our family and the way that we've been raised, as well as our own information, affects work environment, which we wouldn't think. Our future relationships with our partners. That's a given. It's that whole cliche, I don't want to be like my mom, but then you turn into your mom. Or I don't want to be like my dad, but then you end up turning like your dad. And every generation says that. Every generation seems to say that that they don't want this or this. But eventually we will see them being exactly that. So, family relationships are one of those that are key to our spiritual growth, and one that we need continuous work, continuous clearing. So, let's go ahead and make an intention for this session. So, let's explore ways to bring more peace, understanding, spiritual harmony into the family dynamics. So I'm going to give a Dowhan's blessing, which is a spiritual transmission of light to open our hearts to receive the information. So if you're watching a recording, or if you're watching this in the future, if you're watching a recording, this Dowhan's blessing will still work for you one time, and it will be for opening our hearts. And you may wonder, what does our hearts have to do with receiving the information? Because in Tao science, our hearts are the receiver of information. Our soul is the information, our warehouse of information. And then our hearts have to be open to receive this information, and then our minds to process it, our energy to action it, and then our matter to manifest it in our physical lives. So I'm going to give a Dowhan's blessing. So you can go ahead, sit up nice and tall. We want our spines erect or straight whenever we are receiving a blessing, because it helps the energy in our spinal cord and in our torso. It helps it rotate. Whereas if we're slumped over, or if we're not sitting properly, the energy is not going to be able to flow as efficiently. Feet flat on the ground. And you can put one hand on your navel, which is also represents our ancestor line, and one hand on your heart, where we have an energetic center called the message center or the heart chakra. And just take a nice deep breath, close your eyes. And we're just going to initiate our heart to be able to be open to receive as much of this information, positive information, as possible, which will then pass it to our minds and go beyond to the body level, the energy and matter level. Take a nice deep breath. And continue to take nice deep breaths, and the blessing starts now. It's a silent blessing. And this is a safe space. We take these few moments just for ourselves to focus, to pay attention, to be able to not only receive the information, but to absorb and digest this information. And if you have your own Dao hands, go ahead and you can turn on your own Dao hands. If you have your treasures, turn them on. And now we're going to close the blessing. Just taking 3 deep breaths down to your lower abdomen to help integrate the light, to help ground you. And slowly breathe out. And take another nice deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Okay. Let's continue with the presentation now. So a lot of these teachings are based on Dr. and Master Zhigang Sha's wisdom, who is a Western medical doctor, doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. So the Western medical doctor, he thoroughly studied the physical body. Then as a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, he studied the energy of our bodies, the energy meridians, how it flowed, the acupuncture points. So he studied the energetics of our bodies. He's also a world-renowned spiritual healer. He then moved up the cascade to the information level of transformation, because it all starts from the information or the soul level or the spiritual body, and then it goes down the cascade to the heart, mind, energy, and matter. He's an 11 times New York best-selling author, and he's been honored many, many awards. But the most special one is he was honored with the most prestigious master calligrapher title in China. So that is a very rare award, and it is significant because a lot of the transformation and empowerments he offers now is based on his calligraphy. So the universal law of Shen Qian Jing, which these are Mandarin words, which we repeat it every single time so we can understand it deeper and deeper. So Shen is soul, heart, and mind. Qi is energy, and Jing is matter. So what are universal laws? Universal laws define and determine how life works or happens. Learning and applying the principles of universal laws can help us create and experience the life we want. So an example of a universal law is the law of gravity. So no matter where you are on Mother Earth, it doesn't matter if you learned about the law of gravity or if you haven't learned about the law of gravity. Before the words, the law of gravity, or it was discovered by Isaac Newton, the law of gravity always existed. So it applied to everyone and everything. So it didn't matter if humankind in the 1400s before Newton's time didn't know about it. It still existed. It was still there. And that's where we are with the law of Shen Qian Jing. It doesn't matter if someone hasn't heard of it before, if this is their very first time hearing it. And if it is your first time hearing it, please put it in the chat. I know, I'm not sure about Grant, but I know Atika has. But yeah, put it in the chat because now you're hearing about it. And once you learn about it, then we are empowered to use it. Just like once mankind learned about the law of gravity, eventually we were able to use it, add some more physics, and now we can defy the law of gravity by, or not defy, but use it by going on airplanes, by sending rockets to the moon, by understanding how we can adjust the formula, compensate for it, and in a way not defy. In a way we defy, but not in a. But also we're not defying it. We're working with it to get where we want to go. Whereas before it was impossible. So the universal law of Shen Qi and Jing is the first foundational law of Tao science. Tao science is the science of the source and creation. It's the science of grand unification, and it unifies science with spirituality at the most fundamental level. So Tao science also uses a lot of quantum physics, and quantum physics is basically a field that's still not completely understood. There's still many theses, many theories, but eventually, what everyone can agree upon about quantum physics is that it is one of those gray areas where no one really knows exactly how it works, but they're slowly going through the formulas to determine how does it work and can we not defy it, but work with it so we can manifest the life that we want. And that's the amazing thing about Dr. and Master Ji Gang Sha is that he's found a way to work with quantum physics to be able to manifest for us the manifestations, the matter, the experiences we want in our life. So the universal law of Shen, Qi, and Jing, everyone and everything is a vibrational field made of Shen, soul, heart, and mind, Qi, energy, and Jing, matter. So information or Shen, the soul, is basically where is a blueprint. This Shen is basically what everything else is built on top of. So it can be the information can be positive or negative, which then goes down to the heart. So of course, positive will push down the positive. The mind will do the same, the energy, and then ideally the matter. This is if our Shen, Qi, and Jing are completely aligned, which means everything is aligned. Like there is no little bit of here, little bit of there. What happens is a lot, if our heart, which is a receiver of information, is not open, then yes, we can have positive information on a soul level, but it would get blocked. It will not be able to come down to the matter level because our hearts are not open. Therefore, one of the first blessings was let's open our hearts to be able to really understand this information in a deep level and a deep layer, not superficial, not from the mind, but on a deep level. So at any point, the information of positive or negative, it can get blocked. It can get completely blocked, or it can get transformed. So the negative could be transformed to positive, this is the level we're trying to work on. But again, at any level, it's possible it can get blocked or it can get transformed, which is the world we live in. We live in yin and yang. We live in the world of duality. So we have both positive and negative. This is what we're working with. This is the law that we are, that everyone is working with. And so since we now understand this law, that's how we're working with it to be able to manifest the matter, which could be the experience, the event, the relationship, the family unity, the finances, the health, emotional, physical, mental health that we're looking for. So already just knowing that this law exists, we're empowered to do something, to change what we don't want to manifest in our life or what we want to improve. Positive and negative information. So positive information creates order, connection, and harmony, and includes love, forgiveness, compassion, and gratitude. These are all positive qualities. I don't think anyone would deny or have a problem believing that love, forgiveness, compassion, and gratitude are positive things. Negative information can also affect us, and it creates disorder, disconnection, and disharmony. And it includes hurtful or harmful actions, speech, and thoughts. So if let's say we're in an argument with our sister or mother, if we're in an argument, we are disagreeing. And when we are not grounded, when we're not loving in our speech, we're actually creating more disorder, more disconnection, and more disharmony. So in our minds, we can think, why I'm being reasonable. From our mind level, we can think we're being reasonable. I don't understand why she's not listening to me. Why is she misunderstanding me? I think all of us have had that experience where we don't think we did anything wrong. We're defending ourselves, but the other person just isn't getting it. They're just not understanding what we're saying. And then that's why people in arguments will end up raising their voice. They'll end up yelling because they don't understand, why isn't this person hearing me? And that's because the hearts are not connected. They're not on the same vibration level. Because when your hearts are connected, when you have that positive information, sometimes you don't even need to say anything. The other person just understands you, they get you. Sometimes you have a thought and the person will bring you your cup of tea or water without you physically having to say that. So when our minds aren't on that same level and we're getting this frustration, like, why isn't she understanding me? What is she not getting? It's perfectly reasonable what I'm saying. And it's like, she's so selfish, she's dense, whatever negative things come to your mind, you are creating negative information. And that will manifest. And that will manifest into a harmful or hurtful action. It could start from words. You've already had the thoughts here. The anger, the feelings were there. But none of this would ever manifest if it didn't start from a soul level. Because if you didn't have this information on a soul level, it's impossible for it to manifest in these ways. So what we always want to do before we have a physical world conversation is we want to clear the soul level, clear that information as much as possible before we have our physical world meeting, conversation, meet up, whatever it is. Before you have that issue that you want to speak about, and we do need to speak about it, we do have to take physical action, but we always want to prime the field on a soul level first. Because when we come from order, connection, and harmony, that is actually what's going to manifest in you. Doesn't necessarily mean 100% the other person will take it that way, but you will be able to stay grounded. You will not say anything hurtful, calling names, or being angry or frustrated. You'll be patient. You'll be loving. You'll be forgiving, compassionate, and grateful. At least for your information, you won't be recreating more negative. And that's what we're trying to do in every aspect of life. In every single aspect of life, you're trying to create only positive and try to create as little negative as possible. And a lot of times, to be realistic, we'll be creating both because we're in training, we're not perfect. Because again, we have to be compassionate with ourselves as well, forgiving with ourselves as well, because not every single person is able to be positive all the time, because then they wouldn't be on Mother Earth. They'd be on a higher dimension or a higher frequency. So we're here for training. So important to also be patient with ourselves, not just with the other person. So as I already touched upon, soul blockage, and if anyone has any questions or needed any clarifications, please post it in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it. So soul blockages are spiritual blockages, which are negative action, speech, and thoughts throughout not only this lifetime, but all your lifetimes. Heart blockages are feelings, negative feelings, such as selfishness, desires, greed, unworthiness, jealousy, competition, anger, lack of wisdom, negative emotions, and more. So, like a lack of wisdom, this is something that surprises many people. Our heart is the container of information, but which is wisdom. A lack of wisdom will, as for an example, make you speak to someone or say something, but you haven't taken account of the field before you say it, and someone will just get irritated or snap at you. So lack of wisdom is something that comes with time, it comes with experience, and it comes with practice. So lack of wisdom we all have to a certain level, because again, we're here for training. Mind blockages like negative mindsets, attitudes, beliefs, ego attachments, and more. So if we believe someone is, oh, she's always cranky, or she always has something against me, or whatever negative belief you have, that is what's going to manifest. But why do you, in the first place, do you have that negative belief? Because you had it on the soul level first. A lot of beliefs we inherit from our parents. Money is hard to make, or I have to marry someone from this culture, things like that. We have a lot of cultural conditioning that we inherit. And sometimes it's very difficult to break out of that. But it's possible. Difficult, but it's possible. Energy blockages, which occur in spaces between cells, cause blockages in flow of energy. So examples, inability to act, like you're in a terrible relationship, the person is not right for you, toxic, but you just put up with it, you tolerate it. Inability to act, take care of yourself and leave that relationship. Take initiative when needed, trauma, procrastination, negative actions, harming others, and more. So those are all pretty self-explanatory as far as the energy level. Matter blockages occur inside cells and can lead to sickness, challenges in health, difficulties in relationships, blockages in finances, and more. Also include matter, such as objects we keep in our lives that carries negative information. So negative or challenging relationships can physically affect our bodies, can affect our health. And this is something that many people don't realize, or they do realize, but they don't know what to do about it. So they try to just fix the health condition, but we have to look at the root cause of what's caused that condition. So we go up, yes, we can go up to the soul level with the information, but until we realize that it's this relationship that it's manifesting with, we'll be able to clear a fair amount. But until we learn what we have to learn in that relationship aspect, it won't completely be transformed. It'll come up in a different way. If it's not completely transformed on that root level, it'll continue, and we don't want that. So the universal law of Shen, Qi, and Jing, power and significance, applies to everyone and everything, teaches that everyone and everything are a vibrational field, teaches how to transform any aspect of life, bridges science and spirituality. We are all vibratory fields. We're made of atoms, and atoms are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. And they're made of quarks, elementary particles, and those are made of waves, quantum waves and particles. So we are vibrational fields, and our eyes interpret us as how we look like. Our fingers and our nerves interpret us as solid. We're not on a human gross level, okay, but really on a very high level, like with a high level microscope, we'll be able to see space. Most of our world is actually 95% space, not physical matter. But that's something that quantum physics is more and more getting into explaining. So everything is a field. So when we have issues with our relationships, we have specific parts, areas in our body that negative information is stored. So it would be in different areas, and that's what we're going to go deeper into. So sometimes we think this issue in my life, this health issue, is not related to my relationship, or my back pain isn't, but technically it could be. Oh, my knee pain isn't related to my relationship. My anger issue isn't related, but it actually might be. So we have to look really closely at what is that root cause so we can transform it. So a lot of the readings that we're trained to do as teachers will help us help the participant loosen that pain blockage, or help release that challenge, transform that challenge. Because unless it's addressed, it's just going to keep accumulating or recreating. And we don't want to recreate the negative. We want that release. If it's in our power to do so, we want to transform it. We want to release it as soon as possible. So does anyone have any questions or any concerns? Or do you need any more clarity for anything I've spoken about so far? Okay. So I'm just going to go to the next part of this practice, and then we'll go into a practice, basically. Okay, so the roots of family dynamics. So there is a spiritual perspective on family roles. Family members are often seen as soulmates in the broader spiritual sense, meaning they're here to, like our sisters, brothers, we're all here to learn. And each family member plays a specific role in our lives, reflecting aspects of our inner selves that need healing or growth. And also another main thing is the role of conditioning. That's a very big part of our experience in this lifetime and in all our lifetimes, really. Our early family experiences shape our beliefs, values, and emotional patterns. Much of the disharmony in family relationships can stem from unconscious conditioning passed down through generations, which is information. So how do we change this information passed down from generation to generation? Let's go ahead and do a practice. So let's work on actively using this wisdom and this knowledge to transform the information that we're experiencing any challenge to positive. So if you already know, you can pick, if you have a challenge with someone, a family member, any coworker, anyone that you currently feel that you're having an issue with, you can choose them. If you want to work on a physical body part where you feel pain, you can go ahead and focus on that, because again, just being flexible here. And if you want to work on your relationship with yourself, your own higher soul, you can choose that. So whichever one you want to work on, go ahead and work on. But if there is a family dynamic that you wish would be transformed, go ahead and focus on that, because I'm going to lead the invocation for that part. So I'll give you a minute just to decide what aspect, what you would like to change, or what you want to improve. Okay, so let's go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes, feet flat on the ground. And we're just going to do a very simple but powerful forgiveness practice. Because if it is occurring in our physical experience, if we're having a challenge, that means we have negative information in our information fields. So if someone is giving us a hard time, not being nice to us, it's because somewhere down the line, it was created either by us or by an ancestor or another family member. If we have a family member who's giving us a hard time, who doesn't seem to, maybe they love us, but they don't like us. They push our buttons, we push their buttons. That's because in that relationship, in that soul of that relationship, there's negative information that was created, most likely by both you and the person, or by your ancestors in whichever lifetime. So we're really going deep to the source, the root of this information creation that was created whenever. So feet flat on the ground, back straight, one hand on your navel, one hand on your heart. I will call in the soul of the person that you would like to transform the relationship challenge with. We humbly call in the soul of. You can go ahead and say their name. And whenever we speak to the soul of another person, we always stay positive, respectful, sincere, because we're creating positive information. We're not complaining. We're not having that recording in your mind of, oh, he didn't do the dishes. Oh, he treated me negatively. Oh, he's so and so. Or my sister, so this and this. It happens automatically in our minds, that complaining mode. So we don't want to recreate that. So one hand on your heart, one hand on your navel, feet flat on the ground. Call in the person that you want to repair the relationship with. Dear so and so, I love you, I honor you, I appreciate you. I humbly and sincerely ask you to please come to do this forgiveness practice with me. Now, in a most respectful way, not complaining way, most respectful way, tell them in a very nice, gentle, compassionate, forgiving way what you would like to say or improve, or if you were hurt. Like, dear so and so, when I come home, I'm stressed. I would appreciate it if you would do the dishes. Or, my sister, when you spoke to me like that, you really hurt me. So, what you would like to say, always stay positive and ask for that transformation that you would like to see in your relationship. I would like more love in our relationship. I would like more understanding in our relationship. I would like you to listen to me with presence. I would like you to hear and connect with me. I don't like it when we misunderstand or mishear each other. I wish our hearts would resonate heart to heart, soul to soul. So, whatever is your request, go ahead and make your request. So, after you've made your request, we will now go into a forgiveness practice where we say to the soul that you've called in, Please forgive me if I haven't, and you repeat that request to that soul. If I haven't heard you, if I haven't loved you enough, if I haven't done the dishes when you are tired, if I've called you names, if I spoke rudely to you, not just in this lifetime, but any lifetime, please forgive me. Please forgive my ancestors if we hurt you or your ancestors in not only in these ways, but in any way. Please forgive my ancestors and I of all lifetimes if we hurt or harmed you in any way, intentionally or not intentionally. Please forgive us. And we forgive you and your ancestors for all the ways you have hurt us. We let you go unconditionally. Now we'll just repeat a simple mantra to increase the positive information in the field of the relationship. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. Continue to repeat this. Now I'm going to make the field a little bit more high frequency by playing some gentle music, which will help us go deeper in this practice, to open your heart to more love. And you can continue repeating the mantra or just sit and listen and absorb the information from this song into the relationship, into the soul, the information of the relationship you called. Okay, so go ahead and take a few deep breaths. I usually like to end with 3. So before you open your eyes, take a nice deep breath down to your lower torso, to your lower abdomen, and slowly exhale out. Take another nice deep breath. And slowly exhale out. Take another nice deep breath and slowly exhale out. Just a few moments of silence where we now speak once again to the soul that we called in, the soul of the person. And just notice that shift in the frequency of your relationship. And again, with your heart more open, more centered and balanced, we thank the soul of the person who came to do this practice with us. And we ask them to respectfully return. And whenever you are ready, you can go ahead and open up your eyes. Continue to take nice deep breaths, stretch if you wish. And if you can't, put it in the chat, or if you want to share, you can unmute and share. But essentially, this is what a simple practice that you can do by yourself to transform the negative information in that relationship to positive information. And again, as was discussed, we can do many things on a physical level. We can do many things when it comes to the matter level. But until the information is cleared on a soul level or made positive because of the universal law of Shen, Qi, and Jing, it will be impossible to manifest. We need the information of positivity, positive information, for it to manifest in a relationship of love, peace, and harmony. And the more that we receive this information, we send it back up the chain to create more positive information. But it's the same for the negative information. That will also continue to manifest, and it will continue to be recreated, to be continued to manifest, continue to be recreated until we stop the momentum of the negative information and put it and transform it to positive information. So we can do things on a matter level. We can go and have a session to okay, so these are the physical world things on this slide. So we can physically have family meetings. We can do practicing gratitude together. We could do shared meditation or prayer. We could go to a counselor. We can spend money on a therapist. We can do the physical world things. But until we transform that information on a soul level, there will be some matter changes, some energy changes, because we're doing third dimension with third dimension. But up until we really get to that root level, it's just going to keep recreating. So it's, okay, I won't say anything and I won't argue, which is on a physical level. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to be confrontational. But if you feel that anger, that frustration, that contraction in your heart, then that information hasn't been transformed. It's been transformed when, okay, I'm not going to be confrontational. I'm not going to say anything negative. When in your heart, there's peace. You're not even tempted to say anything, or your thoughts aren't even, oh, that person's wrong, or oh, she's being this way again, or he's being that way again. And that takes time, and that takes a lot of practice. So we can go to a psychologist, we can pay how much ever, 120 pounds or dollars or $200 for every hour. That's just third dimension to third dimension. And that's why the fields that Master Sha has created with the Tao calligraphies, we just sit there and the calligraphies and all the positive information in the calligraphies transforms it. We just sit there, we show up, and we pay, and for a whole month sessions, we're paying less than half of what we would pay to a therapist or a physical counselor. That's not to say don't do your physical world stuff. But what Master Sha has given us with his calligraphies is very, very quick and fast results. So does anyone have anything they would like to share or post in the chat, or has any questions? Please let me know. Otherwise, we can start ending the meeting. Okay. So if you have an issue that's been occurring with another person, or basically there's something you would like to transform over the next 4 weeks, that's going to be the focus. But again, it can also be for a health condition. There's going to be 8 sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 to 7:30 United Kingdom time. And basically the main additions to not only being in the Tao calligraphy field, we'll also be having guidance. And we have to remember that the information is within us. So if we're triggered by the people in our surroundings, our family members, coworkers, there's something within us that needs to be transformed. There's something within us that needs to be healed so we don't resonate with those types of experiences anymore. So receiving the guidance is one of the biggest and fastest ways that we can tune in and be able to help you with that relationship challenge. And then you can continue on your own once you have the information. Until you have the information, it's just suffering. It's just suffering in an unhappy family environment or work environment. I also give individual readings. So again, there's 8 sessions, and for an individual, it's £60. So it's not expensive for just an individual. There's family packages, which then it goes down to £50 per person. And the reason why we put family packages is because then the transformation is a lot quicker, because you're getting the virtue, you're getting the positive information, energy, and matter, and so is the person or the kids or whomever you register for as well. So if both parties are receiving positive information, then the healing and the transformation is much quicker. So it's not just one person with the burden doing all the work, and then you have to rebalance because the other person is going to need time to adjust their frequency. Whereas if both or all the people in your household are getting positive information, then all of you, it's easier to raise your frequency and vibration and get to that point where there's love, peace, and harmony, which are really high frequency states. To be in love, peace, and harmony is easy to say, but not easy to maintain. That's why your family environment is very important. And then there's also special packages in case you need a treasure, in case the Shi Ching Hu Zhou power, which is new, which is very powerful, that's also offered. But basically, it's just a regular, the fee for the Tao calligraphy sessions. And you can also work on your physical body as well as your relationships. So there's lots of different options, but I hope you took today's example, today's practice, with something that you can do even on your own, because the more you practice on your own, you're still clearing on that information level. And before you go into the physical world stuff, before you go into that physical world conversation, before you go into a therapy session or whatever you're doing, make sure you do your soul conferencing first. Do the forgiveness practice and stay positive when you are talking to the soul of the person. In the Tao calligraphy field, that's what we're going to be practicing in. We're going to be doing a lot of soul conferencing in the field. So both the souls are getting the nourishment from the Tao calligraphy field. You'll be getting the information on soul. You and the other person will be getting information on the soul level, the heart level, the mind level, because you'll have the guidance and the invitation, the information that you need, and then energy and matter. So on all levels, the program is structured so you get the fastest results, the fastest clearings as possible. So I thank you, everybody. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll send the link if anyone wants to sign up. But again, don't suffer in your relationships. Don't ignore the problems that are happening because you're holding yourself in a cage. So it's very important we work on these relationships. It helps our ancestral line. It helps our current situation. And it really does help all aspects of our life in preventing mental, emotional, and physical problems. So please don't ignore it. So I thank you so much. Thank you, Atika. Thank you. And for those who are late or again couldn't be here live, I'll send out the recording. Once again, my name is Hina Adwani, and I thank you everybody for being with me for this past hour. Thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.